Oh no, it's Dr. Milkwaste. He's here to take our milk. Wahaha, everyone milk down, hands up.
Give me that back. I need it to make my teeth and bones stronger. And then,
Help, Captain Calcium, save us!
No fear, Captain Calcium is here. Give those kids back their milk. It's full of vitamin A, D, and probiotics. Milk! Like ice cream, Dr. Milkwaste. By the power of dairy. Freeze! Got milk? We do!
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to McFarlandale Dairy Virtual Chat. I am Brittany with Discover Dairy, and we are going to have so much fun today. We've got Farmer Christine and Farmer Sydney on standby. We can see many of you tuning in for our call today, and we have three of the cutest calves ready for their close-ups, Samson, Solace, and Tropicana. This event is part of the Adopt a Cow program. More than 48,000 classes and 2.1 million students are all part of this program for free. Thanks to our generous supporters at the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin and the Dairy Excellence Foundation. And I know many of you are already excited for next year. So go ahead and mark your calendars because this Friday on May 1st, enrollment will be open for next year's program. You can go to discoverdairy.com/adopt. Simply log in, get signed up, and you're ready to go for next year. And we would love for you to invite your friends for next year too. Now, because this event is live, we want to hear from you. Go ahead and drop your questions, your comments, all of that good stuff in that chat. We want to fill that chat with all kinds of excitement today. Speaking of that chat, let's see who's joining us today. So at the very beginning of our chat, let's see. We had a lot of questions coming in already. That's amazing. But one of the first ones checking in, we have some kindergartners from Prairie View Elementary School in Beaver Dam, and they adopted Tropicana. Hello, and thank you so much all for joining us today. We're excited to have you, kindergartners. How about some third graders in West Bend, Wisconsin? Hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning in today. How about Richards Elementary in Whitefish Bay? Hello, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. How about we have another one here, Burley Elementary in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Hello, welcome. Some fourth graders at Jackson Elementary School in West Bend. Hey, fourth graders, excited to have you on today. Let's drop down a little bit further down the chat. There's a lot of you checking in. This is awesome. We have fourth, fifth, and sixth graders joining us from Burlington. Hello and welcome all. We're excited to have you all. Some third graders who adopted Tropicana. Hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning in today. And let's do one or two more. We have some second graders in Waterford. Hello, second graders. Excited to have you on board today. And we have some first graders from Hales Corners in Wisconsin. Hello. We're so excited to have you all. I know our farmers are excited to hear from you, and we're excited to hear your questions. Speaking of Farmer Christine and Farmer Sydney, let's check in with them. Hey, ladies, how are we doing today?
Hi, we're doing well. How about you?
Oh, we are doing so well. We are so excited to be here with you today. Thank you so much for making time for this. Farmer Christine, we would love to hear a little bit more about you and who is McFarlandale Dairy?
Yeah, of course. So we are so excited that everybody followed along this year. As you know, I'm Farmer Christine, and I'm a sixth-generation dairy farmer from Watertown, Wisconsin. My role on the farm is to take care of all the animals and people. And we have about 1,950 cows milking on 2 facilities.
Wow.
And we raise all of our young stock up until about 6 months. We have about 30 full-time people. We run about 1,500 acres, which allows us to raise the forage to feed those animals and a little bit of corn grain. So
Wow.
we're so excited to have you guys here and do a little live chat today. Thanks
Yeah,
for
that's
joining in.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Farmer Christine. I love that. So remind us, so Farmer Sydney, I know you've been working with our calves a lot this year. Remind us, Sydney, what your average day looks like on the farm.
Usually my average day starts at like 6, and then I'll do maternity chores, and then I'll go start feeding calves for that 8 a.m. feeding. And then throughout the day, I'll just be checking up on calves, giving them fresh straw. Yeah, just
Yeah.
watching to make sure that everybody's okay.
Awesome. I love that. Very cool. So, I mean, it's a definitely an important job. How many calves do you have to take care of at the farm?
Right now I have 125 just on milk,
Oh
but that
my
doesn't
goodness.
include the probably 300 in the 2 heifer sheds up here, and then
Wow.
maybe 20 more weaned ones in the calf barn. So
Sure.
I have enough to keep
Wow.
me busy.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a busy day for sure. And then Farmer Christine, remind us, I know you said you work with the cows, you work with the people. What's your average day look like?
Oh man. So my day uh, flexes a lot depending on what we have going on. For instance, this morning I got to help with herd health at our satellite farm in Lake Mills. I
Okay.
got to do some vaccinating over there and take care of the animals there. I did some training right before this as well with some of our milking technicians here in Watertown.
Cool.
But my husband and I have 3 young daughters, 5, 3, and 1. So I'm
Oh, wow.
not only a farmer, but a mother and a wife. And I wear a lot of hats. So I like to be involved in the community. We're actually hosting our local dairy breakfast in June on Father's Day weekend.
Oh,
So,
that
little
sounds like
plug
so
for
much
those
fun.
in the area. Make sure to come join us on Father's Day
Yeah.
weekend for the dairy breakfast, 7 to 12:30. Our
All
doors will be
right.
open. But it really depends on the day and who needs what or what we have going on. I kind of flex many
Yeah.
different directions, and
Sure.
that keeps it interesting. Every day is a little bit different for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I
Mhm.
was closer to you. I would love to come to that event on Father's Day weekend. Be a little bit of a
Same.
drive for me from Pennsylvania, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So I hope some
yeah.
folks are excited and marking their calendars and are able to come out. Thank you so much
Mhm.
for sharing that. It sounds like you wear a lot of hats on the farm, but right, that's why you've got incredible employees, many others, but including Sydney, to help get
Yes.
that job done. So that's awesome. So I know, Sydney, your main job has been taking care of those calves. So if we could get an update on how our girls are doing. So let's see if we can bring their camera up here. Oh my goodness, look how big they're getting. Oh wow. So Sydney, I know we've got Miss Solis and Samson and Tropicana here with us today. Let's start with, so which one's on the camera here right now? 7825, or what, we can do which one in the front here. We've got 7833.
Samson?
All right, so let's
Yeah,
start with Samson. That
Samson.
sounds good. So
Yep.
Samson, when she was born, she was 30 and a half inches and 75 pounds. She was the smallest of the three. But I know at our last
Yeah.
update, my goodness, she was 552 pounds and 48
Um,
inches. So where do you think she's at now?
Samson. She just got weighed yesterday. Right now, she is 52 inches and 720 pounds.
Holy moly, 720 pounds and 52 inches.
Yeah.
Holy, my goodness, she is growing
Yep.
big and strong. And that is like almost 200 pounds since our last update. So she's clearly eating very healthy and
Yeah.
living a great life. Anything about her personality at all? Have you noticed anything while you've been taking care of her and taking pictures and stuff?
Um, She's definitely the most curious out of the three adopted calves. She'll always come up to the gate and like try to lick you or just say hi.
Oh.
So that's been
Well,
fun.
that makes sense. She's definitely coming to check out Miss Erica here with the camera and wants to give the camera kisses. So, yep, that makes sense. Aw,
Yeah.
Samson. It's been so much fun following her, and I know there's been a lot of people in the chat excited to see Samson. Oh, and then right behind her here is
Yeah.
Tropicana. Hey, Tropicana. She's staring us
Oh
down in the
yeah.
camera. So she is ready for her close up. So I know as a refresher, Tropicana, she at birth was 32 inches and 98 pounds. And then at our last update, she was 544 pounds and 49 inches. She's our tallest one. Is she still the tallest 2 months later? Do you have any idea where she's at?
Um, she is 52.5 inches, so just a smidge taller than Samson.
Okay.
But
All
she
right.
weighs pretty close. She was weighing 715 pounds.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That's great. So she's just got
Yeah.
the long legs and a little bit thinner.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
hamming it up right now. Hi, honey. That is a really cute shot. She is totally enjoying this close up. Oh my goodness. And then a little bit about Tropicana. Like, what's her personality like?
She was definitely the more sweeter one, laid back one. When she was littler and I had to like take her out or whatever, it'd be at her pace. She just da 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 da.
I love that. Those kind of personalities and cows are fun. Then they just kind of go with the flow. Awesome.
Yeah.
So then that means that leaves our Miss Solis. And I know at birth she was 30 and a half inches. So she was same as Samson. But she was the heaviest at birth. She was 99 pounds. She was super close to almost 100 pounds. But now she's actually our lightest. So that's kind of funny. She was at 6 months old. She was 424 pounds and 45 inches. Where do you think she's at now?
Right now, as of yesterday, she is, what was it? I think it was 49 inches tall.
Okay.
So the shortest one. And then she was 660 pounds. So a little bit smaller,
Okay.
but pretty
Yeah.
similar for the
Yeah.
age group. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And she definitely started to trend a little bit shorter and a little bit smaller than the rest of them. That's funny. She started out the biggest, so she was just a big
Yeah.
baby, and then
Yeah.
and then she just stayed a
Yeah.
little bit smaller, and she's just a compact, fun size, right?
Yep.
But I would still say that is still
Yeah.
very heavy and sounds like they're still growing at a really healthy rate. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. And then anything about her personality at all? What's Miss Solis like?
Um, mm, she's probably been the sweetest. Tropicana was like the more down to earth, but she's been the sweetest. She's just a little baby. Just wanted
Oh, aw, I love
She's been
that.
so much fun.
Yeah, that's fun. She's looks like she's not quite sure about the camera today. She's just gonna kind of hang out in the back. Maybe she'll come say, oh,
Yeah.
oh, did she
Oh,
see me?
there we
Maybe
go.
she'll come and say hello. Hi, honey. Oh my gosh. It certainly has been so much fun getting to follow them all year long. So remind us, where are they currently living? Is this the barn that they're usually in?
This is the barn that they go to after the calf barns, and then they'll
Gotcha.
stay here for about 3 more months. So
Okay.
they're in the last pen, and actually next week they will be sent over to our grower farms, and they'll continue growing over there.
Cool. Awesome. So a grower farm, is that, kind of help us understand what that means. I'm assuming it doesn't mean we're just putting water on them and watching them grow. So what does a grower farm
What is
mean?
that?
Yeah, so I'll answer that one. But we raise them until about 6 months. So yeah, these girls are ready to go. We actually held them back just for the live chat, and we did some school
Sure.
tours last couple weeks. But we feel that once they hit like 6 months or that 550s to 650 in weight, that they're pretty bulletproof. So then we feel comfortable sending them to another farm, and they will
Cool.
stay there and get bred around 13 months of age. And then they will return home just 6 weeks before they have their first calf at about 2 years of age.
Wow. All right. So they get to go on a little vacation and go check out another farm for a little bit.
Yeah,
And
maybe
yeah.
like college or something,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah,
got to
there you
go
go.
away for a little bit. They got to grow up. Uh, yeah.
Cute.
And then they'll come back when they're ready to start working.
That's awesome. So you mentioned there just briefly, so at about 2 years old, then it sounds like, because cows are pregnant for 9 months. Is that correct?
Yep, same as
Okay.
people, 9-month gestation.
Yeah.
And so we'll start breeding them around 13 months, and our average age at calving is 23 months, so right around
Okay.
2 years, and
Yeah.
that's considered a mature dairy cow and when they can start making milk.
Okay. So 2 years old, they start producing milk. So to clarify, then they're not making milk right now, right?
Nope, nope, nope.
Gotcha.
Nope, they have to have a baby, so right at about two
Ah.
years.
All right. So just like any other mammal, right? They've got to have a
Yep,
baby before they can start producing milk. And
yep.
then that's and then how often do they have a baby? Is it like, I guess, is it once a year, or what does that look like for a cow?
Yeah, the goal would be once a year. So
Okay.
um, usually we'll start breeding them back at about 72 days after calving.
Okay.
So then with that 9 months gestation, it may take a couple breedings to get them pregnant sometimes, but that will hit our target then at once a
Sure.
year.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Awesome.
actually, they get to go on vacation
Well,
for 2 months before they have their next baby. So
huh.
cows really have it made. I
So
mean,
they
they live
go,
on the beach and they go on vacation for 2 months a year. I wish
dang.
I was a cow sometimes.
Right? Yeah. The beach sounds really great. So explain the beach. What do you mean by they're at the beach all the time?
Well, so if you came to visit our farm, we house our cows, excuse me, in freestall barns, and we bed those free stalls with fresh sand twice a week, and they get
Okay.
raked out 3 times a day. So if the cows ever make a mess in them, like they pee or poop in the stalls,
Sure.
we'll clean that out. And then I mean, that's where they spend majority of their time is just resting in the
Yeah.
sand bedded free stalls. And we spend a lot of time and energy and money making sure that the animals are comfortable. So cows really
Sure.
prefer cool over hot. So today's a nice cow day. We got like 50 some degrees here and a little bit of drizzle.
Yeah.
But in summer, I mean, we can hit over 90 degrees and those animals get really stressed from the heat. So
Mm-hmm.
in our barns, we have all tunnel ventilation. So we'll have a 1 minute air exchange and an 8 to 9 mile an hour wind on their backs as they're laying in their sand bedded free stalls to make sure that they're
Wow.
nice and comfortable, even in the hottest days in Wisconsin.
Gosh. So they're getting that wonderful breeze without that like salty like stickiness. It's the
Yes.
perfect combination of it all.
Yes. Yep. And I mean, they always have access to water and also an all you can eat buffet. So we feed them a
Wow.
TMR or a total mixed ration that is specifically formulated by my husband, actually. He has his
Oh,
PhD in ruminant nutrition and actually his master's in dairy reproduction. So
wow.
we have a really strong team of professionals that help us manage our animals well, too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they have amazing food in front of them all the time, access to sand bedded free stalls and
Yeah.
water. So everything they can
Incredible.
imagine and want.
Gosh. Now that's pretty cool that you have your nutritionist, right, as part of the farm. I know most farms they hire somebody and bring someone in to consult, but it's still a very important role for your farm. And I think that's
Oh
awesome
yeah.
that the cows have their own nutritionist. I don't even have
Yeah.
my own nutritionist.
I know.
So
I know.
I
I'm so jealous. I was just telling Sydney, I'm like, did you eat lunch? I'm like, I didn't get lunch yet.
no,
And that's
no.
that's typical. It's like the animals always come first on the farm. Like
Yep. Yep.
they're the ones living the dream sometimes, I think more so than us, even though we love it too.
Sure, absolutely. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love to hear that they are just living the life out there. S-
Yes.
So we've got some questions coming in. One of them that I want to start with here, we've talked a little about their living situation, but we're curious about that milking process. So the question is, do you use special machines to process and to actually milk the cows?
Yeah. So in Watertown here, we have a double 12 parallel parlor. So you can milk 24 cows at a time.
Okay.
And I was just working with our team right before this, maybe on trying a new procedure, but it's very scientific in terms of the cows need 90 to 120 seconds to allow for proper milk letdown.
Okay.
So that's from like first touch. So we need to clean the cows and prepare them to put the milking machines on. And then once the machines go on, then there's automatic takeoffs, which are pretty standard in today's day and age. So
Sure.
the machine itself will collect a milk weight 3 times a day, but at each milking, it'll measure the flow rate. And as the flow of milk starts to slow down, then the machine will automatically come off. Um,
Wow.
so I would say on average, it's about 3.5 to 5 minutes per milking per cow, for milking time per cow uh, each
Yeah.
time. So
Wow. I mean, that
yeah,
sounds super quick and easy. It sounds like everything practically does it itself. I mean, you are physically putting the machines on, but the rest of it all
yes,
just kind of does its own thing.
yeah,
Incredible.
yeah.
So, about the milk then, we're curious, how much milk can a cow produce? The question is in a month, but maybe we can figure out at least one cow in a day, and then we could, multiply by 30.
Yep. Yeah. So on average, our cows are making about 96 pounds of milk per cow per day, which would be
Ooh.
equivalent to just under 12 gallons of milk per cow per day. And again, we're milking
Ooh.
1950, so you can do the math on that.
Yeah.
We sell a lot of milk. We
Yeah.
have we have usually two pickups, two semi loads out of here every day, and then one out of our Lake Mills farm. And on Sunday, we had our first two tanker loads leaving per day. As the girls are just
Wow.
making tons of milk. They
Oh
must
my
be
God.
doing healthy cows are productive cows. So we
Yeah.
know that that's a really good sign that they're well taken care of when
Sure.
they're making a lot of milk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I'm sure the season is helpful too, right? They like this cooler temperature, not super sunny. So I'm sure they're loving this feel of the
Yes.
year too. So
Yeah, and
awesome.
longer days. I mean, we're
True.
starting to see much longer days this time of year, and I know that makes a big difference in my life. But
Yeah.
it means a lot to the animals too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, good. Can you just describe what it feels like to be milked? We have some people just curious, like, okay, so it's short, but like, what does it feel like?
Yeah, so the milking machines have rubber inflations is what they're called. So it's
Okay.
basically like a tube, and it would be kind of formed to fit on the teat itself. And it's just going to be gentle pressure that actually will extrude or get the milk out of the cows.
Sure.
So I would say it's very comfortable for the animal. And actually,
Mhm.
the cows really enjoy being milked because you
Okay.
can imagine. I used this analogy the other day on a tour. I don't know if it's a great analogy, but imagine like you have to go to the bathroom, and then all of a sudden you get to go to the bathroom and you're like, ah,
Ah,
it's
relief.
like the sigh of relief. Yes. So imagine big full udders coming into the milking parlor and then they start milking. And as the pressure releases from the udder, as milk comes out,
Yeah.
it's just a good feeling. The cows really
Cool.
enjoy it. And actually, cows will be waiting at the gate when it's milking time. They know it's time and they're ready. And as soon as they go, I mean, some cows will even be leaking milk walking to the parlor just because they're so full and they're so ready, but it's every
Good.
8 hours that the cows get milked 3 times a day.
3 times a day. Wow, that's
Yep,
incredible. So you must have a heck of a team to make sure all of that's happening around the clock then. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, no holidays. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yep.
365, 24/7. We're very fortunate to have amazing people that make sure things are getting done every day of the week.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So we're curious. We've just noticed, right? Their names are really creative and fun. We're just curious, where did the names come from, and how are there other cows named on the farm?
From their sire, their dad. We're
Okay.
real original this year, but maybe next year we'll get more creative. So their names are their dad's name. So there is many calves on the farm that have the same sire.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Nice. All right. So they're gotcha. Very cool. I think the names are very creative, so I like them. I've never had a calf in the program named Tropicana before, so that was fun. Let's see. We've got a where so we talked a little bit about food, right, and nutrition, but we're curious, do you buy the food in? Do you make the food yourself? What's that like?
Yeah. So We have a gentleman who mixes feed 6 days a week, and then we have somebody who fills in on his day off. But when we give tours, we talk about our kitchen. So, in our kitchen, if you were to come to our farm, we have some really big piles of feed, and they're going to be either corn silage or haylage. And what I mean by that is corn silage is going to be, we grow a lot of acres of corn. And then when we harvest, we don't just take the cob like you would if you were a grain farmer and you were going to harvest just the grain. We actually chop the whole stalk itself. So we want to make sure when we plant a different variety than what people would use for corn grain. The
Oh,
stalk itself is highly digestible so that the cows can utilize as much of the nutrition and energy from it as possible. And
gotcha.
we want to really make sure that we process that corn kernel. We basically don't want to see we don't want to see any whole kernels. We want to see it really
Ground up.
smashed into many small particles,
Mhm.
again, for accessibility that the cows can utilize that energy.
Cool.
And that'll get put on a pile, and we harvest that every fall. So we make enough feed then, enough corn silage, usually for about 14 months. So we have a couple months of carryover. And the reason that you'll see those big piles covered with like a white plastic and tires is
Oh,
because we actually have to eliminate all oxygen. So when we bring it back to the farm, we'll pack it with really heavy tractors and try to get all the oxygen out, and then we'll
okay.
cover it,
Mm,
kind of similar to the canning process, so that we can preserve it and have fresh feed available to these animals every day of the
wow.
year, not just when we can grow it. And then the
Mm,
haylage would just be alfalfa. So I'm primarily will plant a low lignin, highly digestible alfalfa. There may be some grasses mixed in there too.
sure.
Again, but we're looking for really high quality feed. And then we
Mhm.
want to make sure we ensile it well so that we don't have any spoilage, and all the feed that comes in, we're able to then feed to the cows and keep them nice and healthy as well.
Gotcha.
So, in terms
Wow.
of buying the feed, those forages we produce on farm. And then we will buy in mixes from our local co-op where they can blend
Oh,
together different sources of energy and protein and vitamins and minerals, so that
wow.
we meet whatever specs that those animals need in terms of what they need for either that time in their life, whether they're
Mhm.
growing or milking or they're on their 60-day vacation. All those
Yeah.
animals have very different dietary needs. So the
Wow.
nutritionist will formulate a mixture,
Mhm.
again, utilizing those homegrown forages to then supplement and make what they need for a daily basis for a diet.
Wow. I mean, that
Sorry, that
sounds
was a lot.
no, but I'm amazed because, right, I think sometimes we think, oh, farmers are just a pitchfork and overalls, right? But I mean, there is so
Yes.
much science to what you do and how you
Yes.
do it and why you do it. And I think if we can take anything from that, it is just that you guys are constantly learning and constantly changing things and always wanting to make sure you're using
Yeah.
the best of the best for your cows. And it's just so evident in the detail of just simply feeding the cows. I mean, it sounds simple, but there's nothing simple about it, and it's work year round. So I think that's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. And I hope that answered
Yeah.
everyone's questions because that was really great. We did have another question here. We're going to start wrapping up, but we talked about the nutritionist and then we've got all the different people that are milking cows and managers and things like that. But how do you know if a cow is healthy and who do you work with to help keep your cows healthy?
Yeah, so I can let Sydney speak to the young stock, but I'll
Sure.
speak on in terms of all the cows. So again, we have about 2,200 cows. And I can tell you quite honestly that I used to be in the barn every day. And sometimes now, given my role and what we have going on, I don't always get in the barns.
Sure.
So we've adopted some technology that
Mm.
allows us to be able to track all these animals on an individual basis. So
Wow.
all of our adult animals will have a little blue ear tag that is called an SCR ear tag that
Hmm.
monitors their rumination and activity. So basically, like making sure they're eating and making sure they're active. So that can be used
Yeah.
twofold on the farm. The first one would be to identify animals that maybe are a little bit under the weather and not feeling well. So those
Sure.
cows will have usually a drop in rumination and activity, meaning they're just not eating as much as they normally would and they're
Hmm.
not moving around as much. Similar to people, right? Like when you
Yeah.
get sick, you just don't feel well, you're maybe sluggish, spend a little more time resting, and you're not eating as well. The other thing we use it for
Yeah.
on the farm is for identifying cows in heat. So we talked about cow's
Ah.
job is to make milk, and in order to
Yeah.
make milk, they have to have a baby. So it's
Sure.
really important that we get our cows pregnant. And again, they cycle just like humans every 21
Yeah.
days. So again, it's hard to have eyes on all these cows. Um, it's a lot of cows, hard to have eyes on them all and watch for these things because most people that are dealing with these cows have a task to do, right? They're
Right.
milking, they're making them move to the parlor, they're helping them have a baby, they're
Sure.
maybe giving them vaccines. Um, but nobody's really out just watching to watch them. So,
Right.
so that program will pick up when they drop in rumination or eating and they have an
Wow.
increase in activity, then we
Hmm.
know that that animal is in heat, and then we can breed that animal if she meets the criteria. So
Interesting.
it's super cool. And for me, it's peace of mind. Like I have an app on my phone that'll show if I want to see like cows that are on alert for potentially having something wrong. You know, again, out of 22 cows, it's very common that we'll have 5 or 6 cows a day that we need to go check. So
Sure.
from an efficiency standpoint, the people whose job it is to take care of the cows,
Yeah.
it does a lot of work for them, right? It
Yeah.
basically says, okay, go find these 5, 6 cows and
Yeah.
make sure that they're okay. And if they're not, then you
Right.
need to intervene and help them get better.
Sure. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very cool. So so Sydney, and then when it comes to calves, right, they don't have that tag in their ear. So what are some things you look for in the calves to help make sure that they're staying healthy?
Yeah. So I do not have that fancy little ear tag to tell me when they're sick, but they're pretty easily identifiable. Usually the best time to see if there's any sick calves is when I'm giving milk in the morning or like at
Mhm.
any feeding really.
Sure.
Because all the calves, if they're happy and healthy, they'll be up right away waiting for that milk to get dropped in their bucket. So if one is kind of just hanging back in the back of her pen and doesn't really want to
Yeah.
come up, that tells me that I need to check her out after I
Hmm.
give the milk and
Yeah.
just make sure she's okay. Or if she is sick, then I'll apply some medication to her.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. I mean, it's not like they can tell you, "Hey, Farmer Sydney, I'm not feeling so good." But yeah, you
Yeah.
learn the animals over time and you notice,
Yep.
right? Maybe their eyes
Definitely.
are sunken in or maybe their ears aren't as
Yeah.
perky or, things like
Yep.
that. Awesome. Now, I
Yeah.
do just to help one more step past that, right? You try to handle as much of it as you can individually on the farm. But then do you also work with like a veterinarian for certain things?
Yep. Farmer Christine, do you want to take it?
Yeah. So I mentioned this morning we were doing herd health over at our satellite farm in Lake Mills.
Hmm.
We do that every Monday in Watertown. So our veterinarian is on both sites at least once a week.
Gotcha.
And during that time, he's mostly performing pregnancy ultrasounds to check and make sure that our cows are pregnant
Ah,
or if
gotcha.
we need to continue breeding them. But he's always a phone call away. And Sydney and
Sure.
I have a lot of communication with him just day to day in terms of
Mhm.
text and calls, emails, in
Yeah,
case we ever have questions or concerns about animals.
that's awesome.
He's always able to help us out, or if we
Yeah,
need to, they have other large animal vets that'll come for emergencies during the
cool.
week or weekends or nights, whenever
Yeah.
we need it.
Yeah.
We're pretty fortunate that we have a great team, so we don't have a lot of those kinds of calls,
Mhm.
but you never know. Sometimes there are
Sure.
things that come up on the farm.
Sure, absolutely. I love that. It takes a team to make sure all these girls are happy and healthy. I love it. Gosh, we have had so much fun learning today and getting to answer all of your questions. First of all, thank you all for just submitting such great questions. I know we didn't even get to half of them, but this was fantastic. I wanted to wrap up here with both you, Farmer Christine and Farmer Sydney. Your days are full. You wear many hats. You do a lot of tasks. You're running 24/7 on the farm. This is a commitment, right? There is a choice in being a dairy farmer and working on a dairy farm. It's a long day, but there's got to be a rewarding piece to it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, right? So, what is your why behind why you've chosen to be in the dairy industry and be a dairy farmer?
You want to go first?
I think my why is it's just been instilled in me. I've grown up around all aspects of dairy farming. My dad does crops, and then all of my siblings and my mom works on the farm, handling animals
Yeah.
every day. So I think just growing up with it, and then it's very
Yeah.
rewarding seeing those little baby calves that are 90 pounds come back and then start milking into the milking herd. It's just I don't know. The first time I
Oh,
seen one of my girls come back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember when you were a baby.
oh, that is certainly exciting.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that. Very cool. Thank you,
yeah.
Farmer Sydney. And then Farmer Christine, what's your why?
My why is, I think first and foremost, I love working with animals. I did go to college. I went to UW Madison for dairy
Oh,
science and communications, and that's where I met my husband.
okay.
So I'm gonna say it was
Oh,
worthwhile. Some
yeah, I'd
days
say
I
so.
question my college education being put to use when I'm doing like certain things on the farm, like pitching manure or something. But I learned a lot, and like you said, there's a lot of science that goes into what we do in today's day and age, and a lot of technology
Yeah,
that's evolving too in farming and specifically the dairy industry. So it's really exciting. I would say that we're constantly changing and evolving to get better. We're always trying to push the envelope and see if we can get like that
I
next
love that.
tenth of pound of gain on the calves in the first 60 days, or even like the next pound of milk. It's
Yeah.
really, really exciting. Also, for me, there is a legacy factor as well.
Mm,
So I'm sixth
sure.
generation, which is so cool and pretty rare.
Wow.
So I
Yeah.
went to school. I actually worked in the dairy industry doing dairy cattle nutrition for about 3.5 years.
Okay.
And that's when I
Nice.
really knew that this is where I belonged.
Yeah.
I really missed the hands on. I think I always took the family farm for granted. And
Hmm.
getting out and seeing more was just really eye opening for me. And like Sydney said, it's a very rewarding line of work. Yes, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort and time. I always say it's a
Sure.
lifestyle, it's not a job because it's
Yeah.
24/7. I may not be here, but I'm mentally, I feel like I'm
Thinking
always
about it.
connected. And obviously,
Sure.
emotionally too. I love what we do and can't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, both of you, for your commitment to the industry and really just helping to produce a really amazing, delicious, nutritious product that we all get to enjoy. I would be lost without my milk, cheese, yogurt, ice cream, all those good things. So I truly thank you for just your work and your effort and your time. That is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Anything else you wanted to share today before we tune off?
Anything else you want to share? So
Nope.
I am super grateful to Sydney for doing all the data collection for the program, supplying all the photos. I know she enjoys it, but it made a little bit extra work for her, and I wouldn't have joined the program without all of her help and assistance. So I really appreciate her, and I appreciate everyone that is a part of it because it's been really
Yeah.
fun for us to hearing from the different schools and children. We just got a
Yeah.
really nice thank you note from some of the students that came
Oh,
last week to visit, and some cute pictures. And what do you think the calf is
oh,
saying?
that's
Some fun
wonderful.
stuff. So it's meant a lot to us
Oh.
too. And want to encourage everybody to do it again. And for those who haven't, that they get started, because we've heard a lot of great things about the program. And kudos to you, Brittany, for putting everything together. A lot of positive feedback.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's really kind, but truly, I couldn't do my job without you. So I am so thankful for the work you guys do and the time and effort you put in. So thank you, Farmer Christine and Farmer Sydney, for everything you've done. And I echo what you just said. Thank you all, teachers, students, classes, assisted living groups, libraries, cafeterias, homeschool groups. I mean, there's the list is endless of who participates in this. And I just want to say thank you for choosing to include this in your daily learning experiences. Taking the time to learn what is farming is like, and what it's like to raise a calf, and just knowing where your food comes from is so important. And we're honored to be able to share that experience with you. And if you thought this experience was fun, like Farmer Christine said, we welcome you to sign up again next year. Registration opens this Friday, May 1st. Discoverdairy.com/adopt. We would love to have you back, and bring all of your friends. We would love to have them too. Any age, from anywhere. Truly, we've got farms all across the country. If you're not in Wisconsin, we've got you hooked up. So we will get you ready to rock and roll. So from all of us at Discover Dairy and McFarlandale Dairy, thank you for spending your afternoon with us. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep learning, keep exploring, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye, everybody.